Hi, everyone. Welcome to our customer panel. Today, we'll be talking about the Knowledge Graph. I'm Sam. I'm our product manager here at Yext for the Knowledge Graph. And I have with me today Amber and Catherine from Ochsner Health and Eric from Caribou Coffee. And I will now pass it to them to do their own intros.
Hello, I'm Eric Caron. Like Sam said, I'm Caribou Coffee. Been with Caribou 8 years. Caribou's been a Yext customer since about 7 years. I'm the Senior Director of Digital Experience. The way I explain that is I find what the business wants, what the customer needs, what the technology can do, and then how to live in that sweet spot between them.
Great. I'm Amber Welch, Vice President of Marketing and Digital Platforms for Ochsner Health down in New Orleans, Louisiana. We are based across the Gulf South. And my role really is overseeing all of our marketing technology stack from our website, different tools and platforms like the Knowledge Graph, Smart Search, a chatbot. I also oversee our online reputation management program, which is our business listings, ratings, and reviews, social media, digital content, and our marketing client relationship management.
And I'm Catherine Stiano. I'm the AVP of Digital Content and Web Platforms at Ochsner Health, working very closely with Amber and our team. My team really oversees the program that runs all of the content on our ochsner.org website for the entire health system, as well as really some of the back-end features and functionality that are coming to life for visitors and consumers that are visiting our website.
Well, to kick us off, can each of you share how long you've been a Yext customer and which solutions you guys are using today?
I'll go ahead and get started. So at Ochsner Health, we've been a Yext customer for a little over 5 years now. And we started with kind of the baseline business listing management, review, monitoring, escalation, and response. And then about maybe 2 or 3 years in, we started the review requesting program with Yext as well. And now, as of about almost a year ago, actually officially a year ago, we now are a customer with the Knowledge Graph. So we use the Knowledge Graph to power our Find a Doctor search, our location search, and our global search across our websites.
And Caribou has been with Yext since 2017. We're using, let's see if I can get this all, Yext listings, Yext reviews, Yext pages, Yext analytics, and Yext Knowledge Graph. I might be missing one, but that felt like a good coverage.
Sounds like the full suite. And why were you both looking for a solution like Yext? How are you structuring your data before using the Knowledge Graph?
Ooh, I'm going to take that one because when I started it, it felt like there ought to be a good, clean system that we would know every store, when it was open, the exact latitude and longitude, like all of the details of all the stores at all the time. Came to find out that it was a combination of some spreadsheets on some desktops, probably 4 or 5 different systems held together with some FTP, some API, some just love and good luck. As we were scaling our business, we needed a system that let us keep up to pace. Like one of the most dangerous place to stand is between a customer and their coffee, and figuring out like how to make sure that we're not having a closed door in between that two. Because if we tell a customer we're going to be open at 5 a.m. in Edina, we darn well better make sure that that door is open. So we wanted to make sure that no matter where you were finding our stores, whether or not that was on our own location pages, on our Google Maps listing, on any of the other systems that we put our data out on, we needed to make sure that it was all right, especially at the speed business was changing. And so that's where moving to Knowledge Graph really let us make sure that we were we had accurate information wherever it was stored.
Yeah, on the Ochsner side, we had another data management vendor that we partnered with for specifically our Find a Doctor search, which was very needed. We have over 6,000 providers in our database that need to be managed from profiles, structured data perspective. So we were with them for about 2 to 3 years before moving on to Yext. But before that, we really did not have any data automation or workflow in place. And that was for about, I'd say, 10 years of no structure or no automation to the data. And our data was living in several disparate sources or coming from disparate sources. And all of the updates were completely manual. So it was all people power behind it, updating those profiles for the doctor. And so for us, it was most critical to get structured data and a workflow specifically for our Find a Doctor search, because that's how consumers and prospective patients or existing patients are trying to search with us and book. So that was kind of our main goal. We attempted to build our own internal data flow and structure several times, but with different stakeholders across the organization, competing priorities, it just never really came to fruition. So we knew that we needed to bring in a third party, a company that specialized in this, to really, get first the workflow automated to be able to reallocate that people power, and also to make sure that we had the most real-time data, every single day for our consumers to access.
That makes sense. So it was nice to hear about your original vision for working with the knowledge graph. How do you use now today the Yext Knowledge Graph in your branding and marketing efforts? And what's your long-term vision?
It's going to sound like a very simple answer, but for anybody that's been in a brand, you understand how important it is. We use it for trust. Like trust is something that it takes so long to build, it's so quick to lose, and when you have it, it's worth its weight in gold. And I'm talking trust of the employees, trust of the customers, trust of the community. So the important area that, there's situations where there's going to be road construction in, say, 3 months, and so you can schedule it ahead to say, okay, from this day to this day, the drive-through is going to be closed, or maybe the store altogether is going to be closed because you can't access it. Other situations like water mains break, it happens. Surprised me when I started, but it's a real thing. So you didn't know that the store wouldn't have water. It's really hard to make coffee without water, and so the store's closed until water main breaks. And once we started putting the system in place, when the store had to flip the sign to close. I mean, really, it's a switch because it's electronic, but you understand what I mean. When the store is actually closed, making sure that the team member saying, sorry, yeah, the water main broke, we're shut down until 3 o'clock today, having them mark that in our system, which then goes to Yext Knowledge Graph, which then distributes to all the different areas. It helps us maintain that trust so that when a guest pulls up our app or pulls up one of our listings on a third-party site and it says we're open, they know we're open. And if it says we're going to be, holidays in particular is an amazing one. There's some holidays like Arbor Day, we celebrate it, but we're open. Christmas, we celebrate it, but we're closed. And letting the guests know that when they pull open the app and it says that we're open, they trust it. That means a lot to us.
Yeah, and I can speak to that from the Ochsner Health side. Really, a lot of the same points that Eric touched on, being able to have the critically important information as a healthcare organization about our physicians, our providers, our locations, whether it's a hospital, an urgent care center, a health center, being able to have the current and the accurate information always available to our consumers and to our patients. So everything from addresses to the hours that they're open, that's really all the data that we're managing in the Yext platform, and having it in a centralized location with organized data points really just keeps everything for our team very optimized, very efficient. There are those internal workflows with a lot of automation built in that we're really leveraging the Yext platform in that way to work within the knowledge graph pretty much on a day-to-day basis.
Great. That makes sense.
Sam,
Yeah.
Part of the question, Sam, was about the long-term vision, right? And did I skip that part?
That's okay. We can go back for it now.
Okay. The vision, we're not doing it perfect yet, but every day we get a little closer to it. We launch new products all the time. Some of them are evergreen, some of them are limited time offering. And this isn't going to surprise anybody that knows me well, but I love apples. So last summer, we launched a line of apple drinks. They were very popular. Some stores couldn't keep them in stock. And so when you pull up that listing, like when we launched it, we would have that pretty picture at the hero that talked about all the new product drinks. What I am hoping that we'll be able to start doing because of the knowledge graph is, say a store runs out of stock, the supply chain isn't going to be able to have it back in stock for 3 days. Rather than having that hero image, like pushing a product that you're going to walk into the store, it's not going to be available. And like I mentioned earlier, it erodes trust. Having that picture for those 3 days where the store is out of stock on something, having it flip the image to a product that we have in stock, like I think that would be amazing to be able to do. When you're running over 500 stores, knowing which store has which product in stock at which time, it's a Herculean effort. But when we pull it off and we can like blend all the data together, I think it's going to really create an amazing customer experience.
That makes sense. Not just reflecting the real-time inventory of the store, but also changing your brand experience to reflect what a given store can offer at that time.
Exactly.
Very exciting.
And then I can speak to that from the Ochsner Health side. Looking forward, we are, really seeing the power of having structured data, and it's more important than ever now to be able to keep up and play in the space of AI generated searches that are really looking at that data, in that structured way. It really gives us a strong foundation of having the data points in place, and then we're really able to build things and future-proof them going forward. And then using the Yext platform, we are using a lot of the features and offerings within Yext, but always looking for ways where can we work smarter? Or is there any additional platform consolidation that really would be able to allow us to leverage the knowledge graph in other ways to power our website? So is it adding more functionality for our users that are coming to the site and visiting to find healthcare information, or opening up new access to search trends and data? Really want to look at what are those options going forward, and having the knowledge graph in place and all of our data in there already really just sets us up for continued success in the future.
Yeah, it sounds like when you identify that your end prospective patients are searching for more information on a certain topic or want to start learning more on your website, because you already have the knowledge, it's pretty simple just to add a new content type and start populating that everywhere immediately.
I'll say one more thing. I think it's important for long-term vision to have a tool. So the fact that it has the AI component, users, consumers, patients, whatever you want to call them, customers, they're always going to be changing the way they search, right? So we get conditioned for a little bit to search one way with certain keywords and search terms, but then that might change. As we know, kind of like with Google AI and Gemini, a lot of FAQs are becoming more and more important, right? To make sure you're having that in your schema. We need a tool that can scale and change quickly with the way consumers are changing and behaving, right? So that's, I think, longer term, speaking of what Catherine was saying, we need something, and we're trying to look ahead and invest in something that can scale as consumer behavior changes as well.
Makes sense to me. Great. And then my final question is maybe building off of that a bit. So the concept of a knowledge graph can be abstract for many, including leadership. When you describe the benefits of your knowledge graph to your C-suite, how do you break it down in simple terms to explain its value?
So I can start with that one. A big part of my role in MarTech is explaining the value and kind of the why behind some of the software and the tools that we're investing in, specifically to our C-suite. We're very fortunate. Our C-suite is huge advocates and proponents of digital technology. And so we have a lot of support there. It's not really proving it out, but it's more educating and explaining to them why we've invested in what we have. So in specifically describing the knowledge graph, I say when I'm talking about this to our leaders, I don't use the term knowledge graph per se, because I think that's more of an internal, a Yext industry and a customer partner term, right? But how I do describe it really is more of a smart search or a sophisticated search tool that on the back end, we can really set up for success to make sure we're bringing up the most relevant results. So I do like to plug that there's an AI component to it, that it learns and it gets smarter as the user types in new queries, and that we're also able to give it a little nudge and help it on the back end by putting in the right schema markup. The other way I like to explain it is really kind of like a Google-like search. Like they're going to find the most relevant information based on what they're putting in, and it's going to continue to get smarter and evolve the more they search. The other piece is I like to plug that it's not only good for our website experience search, but it also helps our general kind of internet search, and it helps our web perform stronger in search engines like Google. Because it's bringing up this structured, relevant data that really helps improve our SEO. So it's really a two-part, and I think that resonates well to say we're not only improving our website experience, but we're improving the overall online experience for our health seekers.
Gotcha. It sounds like it's increasing both your visibility when you're showing up in search, and then when users are searching, helping them find what they're looking for.
Exactly. And it's also creating a seamless experience, right? So the one thing you don't want is them to put in a search term and nothing comes up, results, or the wrong thing comes up, right? So our website is very large. It really is helping us pull in the most relevant information, whether it's a service or a treatment, the right provider, even, for our site, it's used for a lot of different things, job searches, find my test results, anything like that. It's pulling in the right call to action to guide them through an already very large, overwhelming website.
Makes sense.
Similar answer for me. I don't think I've ever been in a room with our C-suite and said the phrase knowledge graph. I talk about Yext to them the same way that I think our developers talk about our mobile app to me, where they'll say Flutter, but they don't get much nerdier than that. When we're talking about Yext, our C-suite doesn't know and really doesn't need to know the difference between like reviews and listings and analytics and pages. I have them thinking in terms of branded search and unbranded search, how being strong in both of those, branded search is incredibly important, but also easy to take for granted. Unbranded search is a fantastic way to offset any of your paid advertising dollars. It also is a way to get recurring traffic coming back more often. And then having that consistent line where positive reviews leads to making it into the threefold, gets guests having a better experience. Also thinking in terms of the flexibility, like Amber said, we definitely benefit from it. An example is we had a store concept that we launched that rather than having a walk-in where you could, go into the store, grab your latte and sit down, it had a walk-up window. It's a cabin concept that's more, there's snow outside right now, so it's for places where there isn't snow outside. But being able to very quickly say, okay, we've launched this new store type. These are those stores that don't have a walk-in, but they have a walk-up. Wasn't that long ago, 2016, where adding that capability would have taken 2 releases and a month and a half. Using the Yext Knowledge Graph, we were able to add that flag and have it working afternoon. And being able to have that flexibility is why whenever we're talking about what Yext unlocks for us, I don't have to get nerdy because they just know it works.
That's awesome to hear. Great. Well, thank you all. I've really enjoyed hearing about how you all use the Knowledge Graph and how it's helped you in your online brand experience. And I'm sure our viewers are going to appreciate hearing about it as well. So thanks everyone for joining me, and see you next time.
Thank you.